At its core, a mergers and acquisitions consulting case tests a very specific hypothesis. Can two separate entities combine to create disproportionate value? You are trying to prove that 1 + 1 = 3. To prove that equation, you have to answer two distinct questions simultaneously. Does the strategic logic of the deal make sense? And does the financial math actually work? Before you touch a calculator, you need to ask one qualifying question. Is this client making an offensive move for growth or a defensive move for survival? Once you have that context, you evaluate the case across 5 pillars. We start with the strategic rationale, the exact reason for the deal. Then we calculate the standalone valuation to figure out what each company is worth entirely on its own. Next, we map out the synergies, the extra revenue or cost savings generated by the merger. That tells us what the combined entity could be worth. From there, we determine the deal structure and financing to see how the client will pay for it. Finally, we assess integration risk. We look for the cultural, operational, or regulatory hurdles that could tear the newly formed company apart. If you present a recommendation without addressing every single one of these 5 pillars, your final answer will be incomplete, and in a real boardroom, it would be rejected. Let's look at this framework in practice with a classic offensive play. A U.S. peanut snack company is experiencing slow core growth and wants to diversify by acquiring a rapidly growing almond company. This graphic illustrates the hard fit of the transaction. By estimating the U.S. population, filtering for the target demographic, and projecting purchase frequency, we size the market and arrive at a standalone valuation of $2.5 billion for the target. They are asking for $2 billion. The math gives us a green light. But remember the 5th pillar of our framework. Based on what you know about a traditional legacy company buying a modern, high-growth startup, pause the video here. Can you identify 2 specific integration risks? The soft fit reveals the friction. You have a massive cultural mismatch between traditional factory operations and modern startup employees. You also have conflicting distribution models, with the legacy firm relying on hypermarkets while the startup dominates online sales. You can secure a $500 million discount on the purchase price, but if the employees walk out and the supply chains clash, the merger fails. Now consider the exact opposite scenario, the 2018 Vodafone Idea merger in India. This was a purely defensive move. Both telecom companies merged to survive the aggressive pricing and massive capital of a new competitor, Reliance Jio. This chart maps out their projected cost and CapEx synergies. By removing overlapping cell towers and consolidating their IT systems, the merged entity expected to save roughly 140 billion rupees per year by year 4. This is where candidates fail defensive cases. Synergies are forecasts that take years to materialize. The debt required to execute the deal hits the balance sheet immediately. While those operational savings slowly trickled in over 4 years, the combined entity started with a crushing leverage ratio of 4.4 times EBITDA. That immense debt load left them with almost no financial flexibility to compete on price. When you combine 2 financially fragile competitors under intense external pressure, you reduce the number of competitors in the market, but you do not automatically create a strong one. Complexity compounds when you consolidate multiple distinct brands, like Flipkart integrating the fashion platforms Myntra and Jabong. You have to evaluate the operational reality. Forcing different customer demographics onto a single platform will likely cannibalize sales, and combining an older, premium-leaning demographic with a younger audience risks destroying both brand identities. Even if you solve the operational puzzle, creating a firm with massive market power invites immediate external scrutiny from antitrust authorities like the Competition Commission. A theoretical monopoly looks perfect on a spreadsheet, but achieving market consolidation is irrelevant if regulatory bodies block the deal or brand cannibalization drains your revenue. Whether your client is acquiring a snack company for diversification, merging cell towers for survival, or consolidating fashion platforms, the core evaluation mechanics remain identical. When you present your recommendation, you must explicitly separate the strategic logic of the deal from the financial execution of the transaction. Use this checklist. First, define the rationale. Second, lock in the standalone valuation. Third, forecast the synergies and map out the strict timelines for when they will arrive. Fourth, evaluate the deal structure and the incoming debt load. And finally, evaluate the most critical integration risk. State your hypotheses early, stress test the math against realistic timelines, and close your interview by warning the client of the biggest risk to their integration.